What's up, fellas? Um, Hope all is well today. I know it's been a nice day for me. The weather's nice outside, and it's just awesome. So, this is time I really love in California when it's like this. But I have a question. Got a question for you guys, and it has to do with sacrifice. Um, Sacrifice is a word I'm sure that we all have heard at some point in time. If you're listening to this, I can almost guarantee. I want to say 100%, but 99.99, right? That we've all heard the word sacrifice. And so the question I have is that in your marriage, whether you were married or are married, what areas do you believe when it comes to sacrifice that you could have done more of to prevent issues from happening um, in your marriage? Or do you think that sacrifice is not really that important? Curious to know your guys' thoughts. So if you hear this, please comment below. I just want to know your thoughts. Because again, everybody has their own feelings about these things. Sacrifice is being able to lay down something that you truly see as beneficial for the vision of your future, right? So it's like if, and again, I'm going to go to the gym here for a second. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, is it ideal to continue eating sugars and carbs extra, more than you should, all kinds of ranch and pizzas and all that stuff, McDonald's and whatever other crap? Is it beneficial to keep doing that if you're desiring to lose 10 pounds? Well, I'd hope that you'd all say the answer is no, right? Because it's true. No, it doesn't make sense to continue to eat that if you want to lose 10 pounds because there's going to be things that you have to put off, right? You're going to have to sacrifice those things in order for you to get to the goal that you have for yourself. So if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, you're going to have to sacrifice something for it, flat out. You put 10 pounds of fat on, guess what you got to do? Remove 10 pounds. You can't remove 10 pounds of fat by eating the same way that you've been eating. So you're going to have to change something in your life. So when it comes to marriage, I really think about this a lot because there's so many opportunities for men to sacrifice certain areas of their life to ensure that the future of your marriage continues to prolong itself, right? At least that's how I feel. Some people, again, you might disagree with this. I don't know. Excuse me. You might disagree, but if you do, that's all right. But how I feel is that sacrifice is extremely important when it comes to marriage, when it comes to your own personal development, when it comes to pretty much every area of life. Sacrifice is extremely important. For you to get what it is that you're looking for, you're going to have to put things off for a season. Doesn't mean it's going to be forever, right? But for a season. And honestly, some of those things could be forever, right? If you're watching porn, you're not going to sacrifice that for a time to get yourself together. If you're watching porn, you should stop watching porn, sacrifice that for the rest of your life. Let that thing die because it's just going to destroy you and any hopes that you have to have a real, honest, intimate relationship with your wife. And the men who have been through that are divorced now, and you dealt with pornography in that, I guarantee that you already know how devastating it was during that time. You were more intimate with porn than you were with your spouse. And when you weren't in the mood or things were happening, you could run right to the computer and call it a day. I know this. I did this myself with my ex-wife. I'm married again now, but my ex-wife, that's how I was. Pornography was a huge part of my life and destroyed our love life. So the reason why I say sacrifice is important because if you truly desire a relationship with your spouse and you really want things to work out, then you can't look at her as being the one to make the sacrifice. If you know that there's something that has to be done and it can benefit your marriage long term, then you need to do what you need to do. So does that mean, again, like I was talking to one of my buddies, like if your fiance wants you to You live in one state across, let's say you live in New York and she wants you to fly to California to prove that your love for her. I ain't doing that. Sorry, that's a different type of sacrifice. You're now you're testing. All right, so that is not sacrifice. Anyone who would love me that much would never try to do something like that to me. So you got to use discernment and wisdom as well in those areas of sacrifice. So when it comes to like simple arguments and stuff like that with your spouse or your ex, those moments where you could have easily just like shut up. You could have easily just not talked about it. You didn't have to get the last word in. You didn't have to raise your voice. You didn't have to do all those things. Even if she's doing it herself, you didn't have to do it. But you found it fitting that it was just more important for you to get it in what it is that you had to say for whatever the reason that you felt that it was important. Now look, now you got major issues because you just couldn't keep your mouth shut. Now it's like, well, why can't she keep her mouth shut? Why can't she figure out what needs to be, why can't she just lay back and not have to say everything? Oh, trust me, I 100% agree. 100% agree. But again, what's more important? Your marriage or the fact of being able to get the last word in? And that's something that people truly, truly have to weigh out. Some people literally have to take time to really think about this. And this is why sacrifice is so important, because your future depends on it, not just in your marriage, but in your everyday life. Every part of your life is going to depend on how willing you were to sacrifice the things that you felt that were extremely important now for the things that that are going to be important in the future. So I'd really encourage you, men, to really understand sacrifice and really put these things into play. What is it right now that you could give up that will help you achieve the goals that you're looking to achieve? If you have a business, sorry, I'm getting hit by the golden hour right now. If you guys know what that is, definitely getting dabbed in the face right now with that. It's all extra good. But what is it that you could give up right now that will help you achieve the goals that you're looking for? And there's one thing that I had to do. So on Friday nights, this was years ago. Well, I can't even say years ago, maybe a year and a half or so ago. Me and my good homie, as I consider my brother, we used to play games every Friday. Every single Friday, we played games. I would get some wine, play games, and we would just kick it all night from 7, 8, 9 o'clock p.m. till sometimes 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. But at the same time, that was so much time that I was utilizing to me in the incorrect way. I wasn't able to accomplish the things that I really wanted to do, even though I had like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way back up to Thursday. Then Friday, I was like shut down everything, right? Let me see. No, I can't move that right now. So I'm just gonna have to deal with this face right now. It's extra gold. Dang, look at that. Ooh. But I had to shut that down because I recognized that it wasn't producing fruit. And what I mean by producing fruit, when you sow seed into something like a fruit tree, you're trying to get an apple tree, you have to put that seed into the ground, you have to water it. Eventually that seed dies, right? And then what ends up happening is new life begins. The plant starts to flourish as long as you continue to water it and cultivate it. And then eventually it starts to grow over time. And eventually now you have a tree, and then now you have fruit. So that's what ends up having to happen. Like once you sow that seed, the job is not done. There still is a death that's going to take place, which is the seed dying, right? The seed is only temporary. It's a shell, right? It's not supposed to be there forever, but eventually the real life begins. So during that season of playing video games and drinking wine, trust me, I had a great time. It was some of the best times I've had in my life, just laughing like for hours and hours, right? But I didn't see it producing the fruit. So eventually the Bible even talks about these things. And my pastor was just teaching on this. Like if the fig tree is not producing, then it's time to cut that mug down, And so that's where I had to recognize that for myself. I had to sacrifice the things that I really enjoyed. the things that I really liked. And I mean, that was like my downtime. You know, I was working really hard, doing other types of work. And I had to give that up to make sure I could focus on being able to talk with you guys, because this was way more important. But I never got this stuff done because I was too busy focusing on, you know, the next time I can get together with the fellas, you know, and it didn't produce any type of fruit. With this, that's all I believe it will do. And so again, when it comes to your spouse as well, or your future spouse, these are the things that you have to take into consideration as well too. What's more important, right? If it's for a season of putting away the video games, then put them away. Like, put them away. It's literally not going to change anything unless you're making revenue from it, you know, like true, genuine money from it. Like, it's all right to just put those things aside or cut down and minimize the time, right? If you're playing 10 hours a day, do you really have to do that every single day? No, you can probably play for 2 hours max. And then, but just make sure you make those 2 hours count, right? Sacrifice. This is so important when it comes to marriage, and really finding the areas that are going to help the marriage grow by understanding what sacrifice is. It's not doing it so that you can just tell your wife that you did it for her. No, do it because you know that the marriage is important. If you value the marriage, and it's because you know what you need to do. Don't put that on her, because if things don't go well, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to blame her and be upset because nothing changed. If you really are going to sacrifice, do it because you know there's fruit in that marriage. If there's no fruit in the marriage, I'm not saying to cut it down, but what alternative is there? Other than that, fellas, what can you give up today that will help you achieve the goals that you're looking for? What is the most immediate thing you can do that will jumpstart whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? Anyway, something to think about. Love y'all. Have you guys selves a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Later.